It's been an absolutely devastating morning for the people who live behind me at 8 Railroad Avenue. A New Hampshire man charged in a mysterious murder case is due back in court today. And unlike yesterday when we were out here and traffic was light on Shelburne Road, traffic has been moving pretty steadily. That's not to say all grapefruits are bad. They're full of vitamins and minerals and are perfectly safe for most people. But if you want the very last chair, it could be yours if you're the highest bidder on eBay. Good afternoon, Beth. The pile of snow that you see behind me is a popular sight throughout the state today. And unlike yesterday when we were out here and traffic was light on Shelburne Road, traffic has been moving pretty steadily. There are some people, though, who have been complaining that there have been some tough spots this morning, but that's to be expected on a day like today after such a big blizzard. On the corner of Old Farm and Heinsberg Roads, it was the good nature of people that helped one driver cope with Mother Nature's wrath.
I was just driving by and they were stuck in the ditch, so I thought I'd stop and help them.
Andrew Neal and other passersby tried everything they could to free this car.
Not a good day to travel secondary roads, definitely.
The driver told us she wishes she would have just stayed home and was relieved when everyone's efforts were successful.
I've been stuck before myself, so it's just a nice gesture.
Yesterday's winter blast could not come soon enough for some, but its remnants have turned some areas into a major traffic headache for others. Dan Chandler has been working hard since early this morning.
Started at 6. I'll be here till about 4:30. I don't mind it. It's better than no snow, you know.
And Beth, Governor Jim Douglas is asking everyone who can help their neighbors, especially the elderly, to do so. And he also wants to thank all the high school students throughout the state who've been doing their part and performing great acts of community service, helping those in need. Right now, we're joined by Steve Goodkind, the director of Burlington Public Works, to tell us a little bit more about today's efforts in cleaning up.
Well, as you can see behind you, streets are open, but there's lots of hard-packed snow. Going's a little bit slow, but most streets in Burlington are now open.
And how about some of the smaller roads? When do you think your crews will get to those?
Well, we've been on them. We'll be on them again. We had a lot of problems yesterday with cars left on the street and abandoned on the streets. Made things really, really slow.
And any bans people should be aware of?
There may be a ban tonight just in the downtown area. There will not be a city general ban. If we do that, I think all we'd end up doing was plowing people's driveways in again and filling the sidewalks in again.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your help and everything all the crews are doing to get the roads clear. Beth, we're going to send it back to you, but again, a friendly reminder, help your neighbors, check on your pets, and if you're out there shoveling, stay hydrated.
Alrighty, thanks Jessica Abo, live in South Burlington.
Good morning, Judy. While many of our viewers are just getting up for fire crews and for the people who live behind me on Railroad Avenue, it's already been a very long morning. I'm joined now by Chris Gaborio, the fire chief for Essex Junction. Can you tell us, what did you see when you arrived on scene?
When we arrived on scene, we had heavy fire from the stairwell and fire coming out the second floor windows.
And how did crews attack this building?
The initial attack was, we tried to make an interior attack. There's a pretty heavy fire load. We had to pull out of the building about 30 minutes into it and actually fight the fire from the exterior.
And what kind of role did the age of this building play and how difficult things were for you this morning?
Yeah, the older buildings, it was difficult. Most of the fire was up into the attic. We had a hard time accessing that from the second floor when we were in there. And so we basically had to go to an exterior operation.
And was there any concern that there were people still inside when you arrived here?
We did have people that had exited their apartment on the second floor. I believe they had to jump from a first-story roof on the back of the building.
Okay, Chief, thank you so much for your time this morning. We
Thanks
really
a lot.
Appreciate it. And we do know that Amtrak will be running as scheduled, and as you can imagine, Judy, it's been a really tough morning for the people who lived here. But again, fire crews were on scene the second that they got the call and did the best they could to get things out as fast as possible. For 58 years at Mad River Glen, they've come not only to ski, but also to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. But now it's time to bid farewell to the last single chairlift left in the country.
She's being decommissioned so we can make way for a $1.5 million historic restoration project. This is a very emotional day. It really is. I mean, I'm getting choked up now just thinking about it.
Are you sad?
Yeah,
Why?
because it's my favorite chairlift.
Ken Irish has been working at the mountain for 19 years. He says losing the original lift is bittersweet.
It's been a great lift, but it's time, just like everything, after a while you have to go.
When construction is done, the lift will operate on an electric motor instead of a diesel drive. It will look similar to the old one and only hold one person per chair.
Makes me feel better that we're keeping a single chair here because that's part of what makes Mad River special. It's going to be different the first time you put your fanny on one of those new ones.
Most of the chairs were sold internally and some were given away in contests. But if you want the very last chair, it could be yours if you're the highest bidder on eBay.
I just checked it out. It's at $1,980.
I showed you how much people love this mountain.
Jessica Abo, Channel 3 News, Mad River Glen. Good morning, I'm Jessica Abo, filling in for Judy Simpson. Sources investigating a rash of armed robberies in Vermont this year tell Channel 3 the backward bandit has been captured. He's the man wanted for 4 stick-ups in Chittenden County back in January. His trademark disguise, a hooded sweatshirt worn backwards with eye holes cut out. Channel 3 has learned the man behind the hood is 26-year-old Matthew Maskell. He was arrested on unrelated charges. A violent arrest landed 3 people, including 2 state troopers, in the hospital. Police in Jay were attempting to take 47-year-old Mark Lucier into custody because he was allegedly under the influence of drugs. That's when police say Lucier threw one state trooper to the ground and tried to take his gun. Lucier is behind bars for lack of bail on a long list of charges. The new mayor of Port Henry has decided not to reappoint Barbara Tesser as town clerk and treasurer. She was arrested last month for allegedly embezzling between $3,000 and $50,000 from the town. Mayor Gary Cook appointed Erin Gilbo as treasurer. She will also serve as town clerk until somebody can be found to fill that position. A deployment ceremony will be held today for some soldiers in Plattsburgh that are going to Iraq. Half of the members of the U.S. Army based in Plattsburgh have been called to duty. In May, 50 members of the Army Reserve's 962nd Ordnance Company will head to Fort Hood in Texas for training. The group goes to Iraq in September. And as far as snow is concerned, we're going to be seeing more of it today.
That's right. The ski season being extended. We've got a return to winter weather. Now, skiers will be happy.
A present for the Passover and Easter holidays, right?
Exactly.
There you go. Thanks a lot, Gary, and thanks for joining us. Make it a great Wednesday.